Beatles, a group of monks, even a dog, a male dog. This is a man I knew in 1969 in a foreign country called Bakersfield. Bakersfield. I used to visit a boy in Bakersfield, hitchhike to the San Diego terminal, and ride the bus for hours through the sun-blasted San Fernando Valley, just to sit on his fold-down bed in a trailer parked in the side yard of his parents' house, drinking Southern Comfort from a plastic cup. His brother was a sessions man for Taj Mahal, and he played guitar too, picked at it like a scab. Once, his mother knocked on the tin door to ask us in for dinner. She watched me from the sides of her eyes while I ate. When I offered to wash the dishes, she told me she wouldn't stand her son being taken advantage of. I said I had no intention of taking anything and set the last dish carefully in the rack. He was a bit slow, like he'd been hit hard on the back of the head, but nothing dramatic. We didn't talk much anyway, just drank and smoked and fucked and slept through the ferocious heat. I found a photograph he took of me getting back on the bus, or maybe stepping off into his arms. I'm wearing jeans with studs punched into the cuffs, a t-shirt with stars on the sleeves, a pair of stolen bowling shoes, and a purse I made while I was in the loony bin, wobbly X's embroidered on burlap with gaudy orange yarn. I don't remember how we met. When I look at this picture, I think I might not even remember this boy if he hadn't taken it and given it to me, written his name under mine on the back. I stopped seeing him after that thing with his mother. I didn't know anything yet. I liked him. That's what I remember. That and the I don't know what degree heat that rubbed up against the trailer's metal sides, steamed in through the cracks between the door and porthole windows, pressed down on us from the ceiling and seeped through the floor, crushing us into the damp sheets. How we endured it, sweat streaming down our naked bodies, the air sucked from our lungs as we slept. Taj Mahal says, if you ain't scared, you ain't right. Back then, I was scared most of the time, but I acted tough, like I knew every street. What I liked about him was that he wasn't acting. Even his sweat tasted sweet. And this is what, there's no real title poem for the book, but this could be considered a title poem, and it's called Men. For some reason I got it into my head one day that I was going to write a poem for every letter of the alphabet, and all the poems would end in a letter of the alphabet. And so I wrote a poem where all the lines ended in A, and B, and C, and D, and most of them did not work. But it was fun. And this one, I decided to use the letter F, and it's not just F, but the F sound, so laugh or rough could be used, I decided, in my little rule-making mind. And for some reason, this poem became about men. Why the letter F and men seem to go together for me, I have no idea, but here it is. Men. It's tough being a guy, having to be gruff and buff, the strong, silent type, having to laugh it off, pain, loss, sorrow, betrayal, or leave in a huff and say, no big deal, take a ride. Listen to enough loud rock and roll that it scours out your head, if not your heart. Or to be called a fag or a poof when you love something or someone, scuffing a shoe across the floor, hiding a smile in a muffler pulled up nose high, an eyebrow raised for the word quaff used in casual conversation, wine, air, oil change at the Jiffy Lube, gulping it down, a joke no one gets. It's rough, yes, the tie around the neck, the starched white cuffs, too long, too short, frayed, frilled, rolled up. The self isn't an easy quest for a beast with balls, a cock, proof of something difficult to define or defend. Chief or chef, thief or roofer, serf or sheriff, feet on the earth or aloof, son, brother, husband, lover, father. They are different from us, except when they fall or stand alone on a wharf. So as you can see, once you start using a sound, you can't stop using it. So there are F's everywhere in that poem. This is the title poem from Facts About the Moon that I thought I would read. It's preceded by a short little poem called Moon in the Window. I wish I could say I was the kind of child who watched the moon from her window, would turn toward it and wonder. I never wondered. I read. Dark signs that crawled toward the edge of the page. It took me years to grow a heart from paper and glue. All I had was a flashlight, bright as the moon, a white hole blazing beneath the sheets. And this is Facts About the Moon. All these facts about the moon are true facts, which you yourself can discover if you watch the Discovery Channel. Facts about the moon. The moon is backing away from us 1.5 inches each year. That means if you're like me and were born around 50 years ago, the moon was a full 6 feet closer to the earth. What's a person supposed to do? I feel the gray cloud of consternation travel across my face. I begin thinking about the moon lit past. How if you go back far enough, you can imagine the breathtaking hugeness of the moon. Prehistoric solar eclipses, when the moon covered the sun so completely there was no corona, only a darkness we had no word for. And future eclipses will look like this: the moon, a small black pupil in the eye of the sun. But these are bald facts. What bothers me most is that someday the moon will spiral right out of orbit and all land-based life will die. The moon keeps the oceans from swallowing the shores, keeps the electromagnetic fields in check at the polar ends of the earth. And please don't tell me what I already know, that it won't happen for a long time. I don't care. I'm afraid of what will happen to the moon. Forget us. We don't deserve the moon. Maybe we once did, but not now, after all we've done. These nights, I harbor a secret pity for the moon, rolling around alone in space without her milky planet, her only love, a mother who's lost a child, a bad child, a greedy child, or maybe a grown boy who's murdered and raped. A mother can't help it. She loves that boy anyway. And in spite of herself, she misses him. And if you sit beside her on the padded hospital bench outside the door to his room, you can't not take her hand. Listen to her while she weeps, telling you how sweet he was, how blue his eyes. And you know she's only romanticizing, that she's conveniently forgotten the bruises and booze, the stolen car, the day he ripped the phones from the walls. And you want to slap her back to sanity, remind her of the truth. He was a leech, a fuck-up, a little shit. And you almost do, until she lifts her pale, puffy face, her eyes 2 craters, and then you can't help it either. You know love when you see it. You can feel feel its lunar strength, its brutal pull.